and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who would like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Hello, I'm Tom Dillon, and with me today is Dr Hannah Coysh. I'm delighted that Dr Hannah Coysh is joining me today. So Hannah did our course some years ago now, and we stay in touch, and she's been speaking at our most recent conference. Hannah is a joy to have around. So she was a breath of fresh air at the conference. So I'm delighted that I'm going to have the chance to have a conversation with her about her coaching. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Hello.
Let you get a word in edgeways.
Thank you very much.
How's your day?
Joy. It's been a joyous day. I've done a little bit of coaching this morning.
Wonderful.
And then, it was just lovely with a really lovely coachee. And then I was actually doing a little bit of study for the current advanced coaching diploma. And because it's on identity, which is right up my street, I've been enjoying that. And then I talk with you about coaching this afternoon.
Wonderful. A very coaching focused day then.
Yes.
And let's get a plug in with your tutor that you've doing some study. That's good.
Yeah.
Brownie points for that. So let me do a little bit of an introduction. So Hannah is a Frailty GP and is also a lifestyle medic and a coach, and also a GP coach and mentor, also a student tutor. And from a coaching perspective, you also offer help to those impacted by pregnancy loss, helping them to manage their feelings and to move forward with life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wonderful. So welcome.
Thank you.
We always used to start with, what got you interested in coaching, but I've changed the script a little bit. I've not told Helen, I'm not sure she's noticed, but I'm also interested in what drew people into medicine in the first place. So let's start with that. Hannah, what drew you into medicine in the first place?
See, it's funny because now that I'm a tutor at my local medical school and I'm involved in admissions. So a common question at medical school is and what brings you to medicine, what you're interested in. And so I still see people saying what I came to medicine for, and that genuinely is to help people. That's genuinely it. That honestly is what led me there. I was interested in the science and I liked a bit of learning. But the number one was I just want to talk to people and connect with them and help them.
So what sort of age did you decide that medicine was the path you were going to follow?
I was never a child who wanted to be anything, absolutely nothing, until I was 14. And I don't really remember what the switch was, but I was just like, doctor, that's what I'm going to be.
On 14.
And that was it. Yeah. And that was it then. It was sort of, head down and get the exams and Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this on a podcast before. It's easy once you know, isn't it? If you know that's what you're heading towards, then makes it easier to focus. Gives you a sense of purpose around the work you're doing, the studying you're doing. Wonderful stuff. Yeah. So having had a career in medicine, you've then come to coaching, and that's become a big part of your life. So what led you to exploring coaching as part of your career?
So I think I was, as you can see, with all my roles, I like development. I enjoy change, and I don't like having sort of just one thing. And I found at some point, probably in about 2020, I think, I was just feeling a bit stuck. I had a few different jobs and I was enjoying them all, but I'd got to a point where I was feeling a bit like, is this it? Is this what it's going to be? And so I got some coaching, and I got some coaching from she was just a phenomenal GP coach, and that opened me up to exploring lifestyle medicine, which is something I realized that I've been practicing ever since I'd qualified, but had never really titled it that, because I've always had an interest in living well, really, you know, eating well, sleeping well, staying active, connecting, stress management, all of those things have just been part of my life and part of what I would deliver and talk through with my patients. So I realized I wanted a bit more, and I wanted a bit of evidence behind it. So I sat my lifestyle diploma, which I absolutely loved. I got so much from it. And then I came out of it and I thought, I've got all this evidence, but I have, and I know that the lifestyle diploma has changed since I sat it, because I did sit it a while ago. But at that time, I have all this evidence and I have no idea how I'm going to deliver this.
Yeah.
Because what's the use of me sitting there with all this stuff in my head if I can't communicate it and encourage people to think about their lives and think about their behaviours and any potential changes they might want to make? And it was then that I linked the coaching that I'd had and loved to this. And I thought, well, I'm just going to have to get another diploma then.
Hey.
So that's how I found coaching. Yeah.
Brilliant. And it is such a good combination. So for people that have done their lifestyle medicine diploma, have all of this knowledge around nutrition and exercise and everything, all the different elements, the pillars of lifestyle medicine, to then, okay, but now what do I do with it? So I think coaching is a great vehicle for getting across that, and just working with people to help them find their way forward with it all. So,
absolutely. And I think what I've realized, I hadn't really properly understood that that there's so much to behavior change. And there's so much about understanding who you are and what part you're playing. And I think through coaching, I've learned what that means to me, which I really hadn't banked on at all. Like I honestly did it so that I could be a coach and deliver it to other people. I had no idea of the impact it was going to have on my life. But then through that, when you understand it and you're embodying it and you're looking for those changes and you're making those changes yourself and understanding the challenges that come from that, then it's so much easier to coach, because you've been there and you've done it and you're still doing it. And I think that's a gift that we get to offer. Yeah. I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and certainly in terms of the course, it's 6 months of you thinking about yourself, isn't it? And getting coaching whilst you're doing the course. So it definitely has that self-development element to the program. So it's not just learning about how to coach. It's that thinking about yourself. Just say that your latest learning is thinking about your identity and how that shows up in the coaching room as well. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I think you're responsible for us moving into the lifestyle medicine arena and coaching, doing our coaching training for doctors in working in that space. So we have a lot of lifestyle medics coming to us. But it was you that said, Tom, why aren't you talking to lifestyle medics about this? Because it's a perfect fit. And we'd not thought about it. So it is a perfect fit. So we're at BSLM every year for the conference. Great. And we're down in Brighton this year talking to some more doctors. So thank you for that. For opening our eyes to that world. It's been lovely. Wonderful. So we'll come on a little bit later. I was going to ask you about how you're using those, and we've sort of touched on them a little bit in the introduction. But in terms of your approach to coaching, what would you say your approach is now that it's settled down a little bit?
Yeah, I think at the beginning it's hard because you sort of you learn about this and you think, yes, brilliant, I'm having that, and you learn about this and you think, yeah, amazing, I'm having that, and what I've realised, what I really like, and I guess this is reflected in my life generally, is that what I have learned is to adapt to whoever sits in front of me. So I'm sure I absolutely am person-centered, and I really enjoy looking at people's values and really helping them understand how they tick, because I just feel that that is absolutely fundamental to everything else. But I don't feel like I have a one size fits all. It's you're coming to me with this problem. This is work based. Let's talk about work. This is life based. Let's talk about life. I think it's just whatever comes. It's that fluidity, and I love that. That keeps it interesting for everybody, I think.
Yeah. So of the approaches that you learned about on the diploma, you've mentioned person-centered. What other approaches really appeal to you?
Yeah. I absolutely, I always talk about values. We always talk about that. And I think then understanding how you can work with them, or actually when you've had a challenging day, why that's challenging, because maybe your values have been impacted. I'm also, and so we use that a lot. That's my one of my core things that I will always do. I also am learning that I really love the somatic side of things.
Yeah.
So helping people understand when your body gives you a full body yes or a full body no, and what that feels like, and then how you can use that in all of your decision makings in your general life to help navigate the choices that you want to take. I really enjoy that. So I'm sort of working with that quite a lot at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's something that takes a little bit of time to adjust to, because obviously we start off in a very person-centered, having a conversation, focusing on the person in front of you, holding the space for them. And certainly the somatic element of it has to be looked for. So it's, unless you're asking your coachee about it, it's probably not going to come forward. So, we have to get all our ducks in a row first before we move on to think about that and build that in. But it's great. And I think that's the lovely thing about coaching as a sort of career, that you're constantly uncovering the layers that behind it. So when we do the course, obviously we do person-centered and solution-focused, but then later on we move on to cognitive behavioral, where we start to uncover that layer of somatics. What's the physiology that goes with that emotion? But then when we look at Gestalt, it's more about bringing the whole person into the room. And then with neuroscience, we do that bit now on the somatics, the embodiment piece, which, but I think having an awareness of it in doing the course doesn't mean you can then use it. And I think it takes a bit of time to build that into your coaching, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I think some people work in a very somatic way already, so I think they come ready to take that on. But
I think so, and I think it's not for everybody, and I think that's true of any component, almost any component of coaching, that you want to find what suits people. I like working with pictures and metaphors a lot as well, and there are some people who absolutely love it, jump straight in and get a lot out of it, but then I've ever had sort of other coachees and I've said, that, you've just used a metaphor there. That's interesting. Would you like to explore that more? And I've literally had no. So it's not for everybody, and that's just fine, isn't it? It's finding what works for the person in front of you.
Yeah, and I love the Gestalt approach to that, in the sense that everything is an experiment. And so when you invite someone to do a drawing and they don't want to, that's fine. And we'll choose something else. We're just experimenting, seeing what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah. It's just a bit of fun. Yeah.
Just a bit of fun. So thinking about what you use, you've already talked about values. What other tools do you use in your coaching?
I do use personality. I often find that people get quite a lot out of looking into their personality quizzes, questionnaires, and I think I have to be honest. I think the way that I work, I don't always rely on very many tools.
That's
I think
good.
there are some things that come up sometimes. And I think sort of maybe if there's conflict, maybe I'd look at the victim sort of, that sort of side of things, but that tends to be quite rare, because I find that a lot of people that I work with tend to be blaming themselves so much that it's almost worth looking back a bit more into where that blame has come from, and so understanding the drivers perhaps a little bit more. So I do sometimes use that, but yes, I think it's development, isn't it? And I do think, sometimes I'd maybe like to use a few more models, but I'm working on it, and I'll add a few here and there and see how it lands, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It just see.
No, I think I was mentioning on one of the previous podcasts a couple of episodes ago that we all have tools and models and things that we have at our disposal, but we just need to put them down to one side. Just fall down by the side of us and then have a conversation. And occasionally something will come and we'll go, okay, well, that's going to be useful. Let's pick that out and let's use that. But sparingly, I think.
Yeah, I'm not heavily reliant on tools. I did once have a coachee who I'd done quite a lot of coaching with, and I had used a few tools for, and I said, what would you like this next session to be? And they said, I really liked it when you did that coaching stuff, with the values.
Where we actually talked about stuff.
So I think for some coaches, they do like that structure. And so I find that if I can do the personality assessment kind of quite near the beginning, if I have an awareness that I've got a coachee that likes more of a rigid, where are we going, what are we doing, I'll tend to try and bring in a few more of the tools. Whereas if I've got someone who is a bit more go with the flow, then that's what we do. Yeah.
I think they're good can openers if it's difficult for people to talk about themselves. Having a personality profile that tells you who you are, because you've told the machine, you answer the questions, so it's just playing back what they've said, but suddenly it's that's right, it's spot on. It's exactly who I am. It can be really helpful just to get them talking about themselves. And the side of thing, the same with you doing a values exercise. If you start to elicit those values, then they talk about why those values are important to them. Again, it's a great way to get to know them. Lovely. Good. Sure. And so your favorite coaching question, what do you have?
Again, Tom, I don't have a favorite coaching
pick one.
I know it's really tricky. I just want people. I enjoy watching people reflect on what they've said. So I will often say, and how does that make you feel when you say that, or when you hear yourself say that? What does that mean to you? What have you learned from that? It's the reflection that I think people gain so much from. That's probably the question I use most, but as I say, it's quite an open, well, of course it's an open question, but it's quite nebulous, isn't it?
And I think sometimes just reflecting back what you've heard is a great way to get them to reflect on what they've just said, because they're hearing it back for the first time. No one ever does that in real life, do they?
Yes.
In fact, I was listening to a webinar yesterday where they were talking about the use of playback in coaching and saying, it's overused. In a real conversation, you wouldn't say, what I'm hearing is this. Well, no, because that's a real conversation where someone just wants to say, what you need to be doing? You need to be doing this. Actually, coaching is a different conversation. It's a conversation with a purpose, and playing back is part of that, and getting people to reflect, asking them those questions that make them reflect on what's going on is coaching. It's not a normal conversation.
Yes.
And we want it to be conversational, but not a normal conversation.
No, we want that in depth, don't we? We want that in depth look at what's happening for them, because that's where the learning is.
Yeah. Yes. Lovely stuff. So in terms of how you're using your coaching now, we've kind of mentioned at the beginning the different ways, but what jumps out at you as where you thrive in those coaching conversations?
I'm really fortunate because I seem to have found a position where I'm sort of using coaching in pretty much everything that I do. It's wonderful. It's really great. I mean, yesterday I was in my clinical role and I had the luxury, and it was an absolute luxury of just a 20-minute window. And I said to my colleague, fancy a bit of coaching? And they were like, yes. So we just had a quick 20 minutes and that was wonderful. With my students, I tutor year one students, and I'm a as well as being sort of an academic tutor, I'm also a senior advisor. So that's sort of we have when students refer themselves in for a bit of extra support, I will be one of those people that see them, and I use coaching a lot for that, because that is about that. Like, well, why are you feeling like this? Not why. What makes you feel like this? Where does this all come from? So I use that a lot there, and then with my GPM plus work, where I'm coaching GPs in my local area, again, who have self-referred for some coaching. And then I'm doing a lit I am setting up, I'm actually running a circle, an outdoor circle for people with pregnancy loss. That's coming up in July. So I'm setting out on that. I think I don't enjoy marketing very much, Tom, if I'm totally honest. It's not very NHS, and it doesn't sit with me too well. So I am doing a bit of that, but it's not where my passion is. My passion is the coaching itself. So the more of I can do of that, the better, honestly.
Yeah. But you're putting it out there to the world, so
it's there on offer, and and it will grow. It will grow. Definitely. I feel that it will grow. It's just going to take a bit of time.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, like, as you say, you're kind of incorporating coaching into all aspects of your working life, aren't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to hear from our perspective as well, because we obviously teach this stuff, but we get the pleasure of hearing back. And you came and talked about all of this at the conference, and it's lovely to hear where life has taken you with your coaching. So that's great. And in terms of your hobbies and interest in your personal life away from work, what do you get up to?
Oh, get me swimming. That's what I like.
Okay.
I outdoor. I swim outdoors, and I swim all year round, and I absolutely love it. I'm a huge advocate for it.
Yeah.
So anything outside, walking or in the garden, or always with the kids. Yeah. They're like top value, top list of my values. Just generally trying to get a bit of peace.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on the outdoors, but you're on your own with the swimming. I'm not a big fan.
You're not with me, no.
I know, we were away last weekend. We just nipped over to Mallorca for a few days, and I jumped into the sea off a rock, and and had that shock of, a taste of salt. Whose idea was that? It was crystal blue water, and I thought, how lovely and refreshing it would be. And then I was like,
a mouthful of salt.
But no, I don't like being cold.
No.
If I can wrap up warm, I'm fine. But being cold.
See, that's the thing. I don't like being cold either. But there's something different about the cold that you get from a swim, and the feeling you get afterwards, and the feeling of really being alive. It's like nothing else.
I'll leave you to that one.
It's all right. I'll take it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me for quite a brief conversation, but lovely to hear where you're using your coaching skills and how much you're still enjoying your coaching. I think that's the main thing that I take away.
I love it. I honestly do. It's just it's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. A gift that you can give to other people, but it's a gift to us as well, I think.
Well, I imagine that you're quite enthusiastic about all aspects of your life. I think you're just generally an enthused person, aren't you? But lovely that you've taken on that enthusiasm for coaching and kind of live and breathe it. So, yeah. So thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. It's been lovely to catch up again. Yeah, it's like we're seeing each other quite a lot at the moment. Yeah,
Isn't it nice?
A couple of months ago, it's lovely.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Always welcome a conversation with you, Hannah.
Thank you.
We'll
You too. Thank you. And I'm so grateful for what you and Helen have shared with us all, all our learning that we've got. It's life-changing. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank
you, Hannah. Next time on the podcast, we will be, I never remember what we're going to be doing on the podcast next time. So we will be doing something of interest around coaching. So join us next time. But for now, we'll say goodbye to Hannah and bye to everyone else. Bye for now. Thank you.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.